Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome back, one and all, to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we are this is our 201st, I was just informed this is our 201st episode of this. We completely missed, the confetti and balloons and stuff for episode 200.
Yeah, that got stolen for the parade or something.
Yep. So we're going to be reviewing the latest and greatest and over-the-top action romps. That is John Wick Chapter 4. We're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and then giving you a spoiler warning and going more in-depth into it after that. Why did John Wick 3, why was that the only one that got a subtitle?
Good question. I don't know. So that people can say parabolum.
Parabolum?
Yeah, I've heard people pronounce it parabolum.
Instead of parabellum?
Yes.
So, this, this was a good movie. If you like the John Wick movies, you'll like this movie. It's a very John Wick movie. It seems to be the highest rated of the John Wick movies on IMDb right now. It's got an 8.5 out of 10 as of time of recording. I'm checking real quick on John Wick. So the first John Wick is a 7.4. Which, they definitely expanded the scope of the movies as they went along. John Wick 1, I think one of the reasons it worked so well is it was pretty contained. It was as big as it needed to be. It all took place in New York.
Yeah, it was a very small indie film. It wasn't so big. This movie is big.
Well, 2 was pretty big. 3 was really big. It's as globetrotting as 3.
Yeah.
Except 3 still ended in New York. I guess that's a spoiler. Not really, but...
this movie goes... 1, 2, 3... 3 different cities and another country. So... 4 countries.
4 cities.
4 cities and 5 countries, or 4 countries? 5 countries.
4 cities and...
Yeah. There's a part that doesn't take place in a city, it's in another country.
Oh, yeah. Right at the beginning?
Yeah.
That part right at the beginning? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
4 cities,
about that.
Yeah, 4 cities, 5
countries.
I
forgot about that because this movie is incredibly long.
It's 2 hours and 50 minutes, and as much as I liked it, and I was not bored by any means, I think you could have cut some of the stuff down. Some of the fight scenes did go on pretty long.
Yeah, some of them were there's that one scene that's the overhead shot that's panning around through the rooms and stuff, and you're seeing it move around. That was really neat. But after a couple minutes of that, you're like, okay, we're just continuing with this gimmick.
Yeah, there was a scene in a hotel that went on for very long. A couple very long extended fight from different groups all fighting at the same time.
Yeah.
Some of that could have been cut down.
And the fight towards the end, that was on the big staircase. Just kept going. And it's we'll get more into that in the spoiler section. Yeah. But none of it was bad. Keep in mind, none of these were bad fight scenes, and John Wick, in all the movies, John Wick takes a beating and somehow doesn't die and goes through stuff that should kill him. But this movie, he really takes some hits and falls that you're no, I don't care what kind of badass Belarusian he is.
Right, when he went out that window and landed on that van, and you saw the condition the van was in.
Yeah,
I was come on.
Yeah, that's when I leaned over and was I had lost track what floor we were on. I thought we were on the second floor.
Yeah, like, but it kind of felt like they had shot so much cool stuff, and they really were loath to cut any of it.
Yeah.
And like, I get that, but sometimes for brevity's sake, you need to
like
cut it down.
And some of it's like, all right, this is neat, like fight choreography and gun choreography, but some of it was like, how many times do I need to like watch John Wick shoot a masked minion in the face?
Yeah.
In one fight scene?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at a certain point, I'm just kind of like, can we continue this story now? Like, the fight scene is cool. He's doing cool stuff. There's cool guns.
Oh, the part involving the cars, that went on very long, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we can get into that in the spoiler section, too. But, like, this movie could have easily been, like, 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 tops, and really would not have lost anything.
Yeah. Because none of the non-fight stuff...
That was all good.
That was all good.
The pacing of all that was good.
It needs to be there. It's just some of the fights could have been cut down in length, and still maintained the overall quality of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like I don't mind a long movie, but some people do, and if you're trying to get like someone to sit and watch a movie with you, and they don't like really long movies, that's going to be a harder sell.
Yep.
So, but overall, yes, it was very good.
Again, like like in the previous John Wick movies, the world building is just really well done. Like they established these rules and stuff involving like the high table and like the privileges and stuff that the various continental hotels have and all that stuff. It's all really neat and really cool, well done. I would love to see a TV show set in this universe that's like following some of these smaller characters.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen was really cool.
Yeah, he was great in it, and he plays this blind man, and he does a really good job, I felt. I mean, but of just like selling his blindness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to sell that during a fight because he's like so awesome in a fight, but like
very like blind samurai stuff.
But like every time he like reaches for something, he like has to like pat all around him, and then wait, here it is, and then he takes advantage of kind of it in some fights. There's a thing he does with like some motion detectors to.
Yeah, it's pretty amusing.
Yeah, he was really good in it. Lawrence Fishburne just chewing the scenery the whole time.
But like he's
so over the top in it.
Right, but he's like that, you get not in a bad way, in a way that you understand like this is the way that character is.
Mm-hmm. A pleasant surprise and Clancy Brown showing up.
Always a pleasant time when Clancy Brown shows up.
Yes, and Bill Skarsgård, delightfully evil in it.
Yeah, he was great. Like all around, the acting was really good. Lance Reddick, Rip, also good.
Of course.
Ian McShane, it's a very Ian McShane role.
Yeah. But he's owned it like from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we get Hiroyuki Sanada, who like always seems to play these underworld guys, like Yakuza types.
Yeah, he was like a Yakuza type in The Wolverine, right?
Yeah, in Bullet Train, I think. Yeah. He was Yakuza in Bullet Train.
Oh yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat too.
Yes.
He's Hanzo.
Yeah, he was Scorpion.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just all around, like I think so. That first John Wick movie, it's like you had Keanu Reeves, obviously was the biggest name in it, and then you had who was the next biggest name? Probably Ian McShane.
Yeah, him. The kid was famous. Had just come off of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then
Alfie Allen.
Yeah, Alfie Allen, and then his father was like a prolific character actor, but not like a big name. I forget who it was. But as you go along, like you start seeing like bigger names wanted to be part of this.
Why can't I remember his name now? Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe was in it.
Willem Dafoe was in that. That's right.
Yeah.
So Willem Dafoe probably the second biggest name that was in that movie. And then like by the third one you have like Halle Berry in it.
Yeah.
You start getting more like fairly well-known people in it as you go along. But everyone was great. Like everyone just seemed like they were just enjoyed making this movie. Like it just seemed like it was a really fun movie for these people to make.
Yeah.
I've heard that like Keanu Reeves is a delight to work with.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But yeah, like all the acting was great. The action scenes were, like I said, well choreographed. Just some of them interrupted the pacing of the movie a bit with how long they were.
Yeah.
The part with the cars was like the most egregious, I think.
Yeah, that went along for a while. So, well, we want to throw up a spoiler warning here.
Oh yeah, we highly recommend you see this movie though. Like, I mean, but just understand, like, it's a John Wick movie.
Also, it is a big screen kind of movie. It's really some really great cinematography and
yeah,
a lot of like big sweeping shots. They really use their budget in this movie. So anyway, let's throw up a spoiler warning here and go into some details. You were saying that car scene that I brought up, and so there's this scene around the Arc de Triomphe
in Paris,
and it's a big traffic circle, right? And so there's all these people coming after John Wick, and he's like in the middle of this, and there's cars going
hit by cars,
people getting hit by cars all over. John Wick getting hit by cars. There's just cars going everywhere,
going on and on
and it just kept going on. And there's another at the very end. So there's a portion at the end that is ripped basically straight out of Warriors, where John, he challenges the bad guy,
Bill Skarsgård's
character, the Marquis, to a duel, which will, and the terms are, if he wins, then he gets out. The high table leaves him alone for the rest of his life, unless he does something again to upset them.
Yep. And Ian McShane gets his hotel back.
Yeah. And everything reinstated and all that. And then if he loses, then Winston, the bad guy, he wants is he's been assigned the task of killing John Wick, and in return he'll have a seat on the table.
Well, no, he has a seat at the table. He's been given executive, like, emergency powers by the rest of the table.
Right, but if he fails, he's no longer...
Right.
He's gone.
But he's planning to use the killing of John Wick as leverage to get himself permanently more power from the high table.
Right. Anyway, so this guy sends, like, every bad guy, every underworld person in Paris after John Wick, and then at the same time, they're all getting their information from this radio DJ, and you only ever see her mouth, and she's like talking, and it's straight out of the Warriors. And the director even said that was inspired by the Warriors because he has to get from point A to point B and kill all these people along the way.
Yep.
So at the very end, there's this flight of stairs that goes up this hill towards this church where he's supposed to have the duel.
He has to
get there by sunrise, and it's like hundreds of steps, right?
Yeah.
And he fights all the way up this thing, and then he gets knocked all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, he just tumbles down, and like I remember watching that, and I'm like, are we really gonna watch Keanu Reeves stunt double like tumble down every step on this staircase? Yes, we are.
And then he's got to do it all again.
Yep.
So yeah, there was that. There's this fight through this apartment block. That's all this overhead. They probably used a drone because it goes too far distance wise to be a crane.
Yeah,
they probably used a drone.
Yeah,
and so you're seeing like because they obviously built this set, so the walls are only like there's no ceiling, and you're looking down, and you just see this like top-down view of him fighting through this like apartment block, and it's just that goes on a long time too.
Yeah. Let's see. Like, trying to think. The fight scene in Berlin also was like.
Yeah, that took
a while.
That took a while. The fight in Japan.
Oh yeah,
or was it?
That's the one that was like in the hotel that you were saying that like they is a bunch of different groups all like fighting different areas, all like in the same fight though.
Yeah, and so there's this part where because it's a continental hotel, and Hiroyuki Sanada is the manager of it, and so he's got like this training / trophy room.
Yeah.
And so like all of his guys like train in there, but there's also like all these like, samurai armor and like art, on display in there. And so it's this, everything's this like glass walls everywhere, kind of reminiscent of was it the second one where he has that sword fight with that guy?
Was that
with all the glass? I think that was the second one. Or
no,
I don't know. The second and third one kind of run together to me.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen them.
No, it was the third one because the second one ended in that like there's like that fight in the mirror maze, right? The second one.
I thought that's what I was thinking of.
No, there's when they go to at the end, I believe it's the end of the third one where he's fighting in the manager's office of the Continental in New York.
Okay.
And before Ian McShane.
But there's like glass walls everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's like glass. There's like a glass desk and like glass, panels and stuff around.
Okay.
But yeah, like it is reminiscent of that. And that fight.
But he fights that guy who was the American Iron Chef.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. He fights that guy.
Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, so in this though, this fight scene, it goes on, and he's just plugging goons.
Yeah.
Like just all these goons, and they got armor on, so he has to shoot them all in the face or in the neck.
Yeah, and then
it just goes on,
and he gets these nunchucks, and he's like beating them all.
Yeah, and it's like, all right,
no finesse with the nunchucks. He uses it as a flail, just whacking them with it.
And so I'm like, we're watching this, and I was like, how many just faceless goons are we gonna have to watch Keanu Reeves plug? None of it was poorly choreographed, but at a certain point, you just kind of, okay, like, the faceless goons, obviously none of them are gonna kill John Wick.
Right, because a lot of the time he'll like knock him down, and then he'll go to another one, and then the guy will stumble to his feet, and he's got to go back to that guy.
Yeah, because they all got armor on. And then, I also get kind of silly with all the, because he has that like armored suit jacket, and he's just always pulling it up over his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it if you have bulletproof clothing and it's the size and shape of a suit coat. Obviously, you're going to pull that up over your face when you're retreating from a gunfight or whatever. But it got kind of silly after a while, just like watching Keanu Reeves run everywhere like he's Bela Lugosi, like throwing his cape up over his face. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just definitely some stuff that I would have benefited from cutting that down, though. So I want to talk about the guns a little bit. So I would say this movie has the least amount of gun porn out of all of them.
Well, there's not so much variety.
Right. The previous ones,
everything's kind of standardized because he's fighting like a lot of standardized goons because they're like minions of the high table. Yeah.
And so he's given a pit viper, which is a M2011, which is the modernization of the 1911, but this one is, I forget who makes it, but it's got like a skeletonized slide and stuff, and it looks like the kind of gun that would be used by someone wearing pit vipers. Just saying.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like at one point he's out of ammo and he takes the slide off just to stab someone with it, right? Or was it a different gun?
I don't remember, man.
I remember him doing that. Like, what's he
leaves...
doing? And it's like he takes the slide off the gun. He starts just like jabbing someone with it because I guess he was out of ammo.
But he uses that. There's like a revolver that he picks up somewhere, and then it's just a bunch of Glocks basically. And then for the long arms, that the dude who's tracking him with the dog, he has like this modern lever action with M-lock rails, which is interesting. And if it's the gun I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure it's a 4570.
There was the one gang that all had Dragon's Breath ammo.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about that. So in the previous, what's interesting is you can, if you know much about guns, you can see how gun technology improving has affected the John Wick movies a bit, because in the second one, when he goes to kill that chick in Italy, remember the high table in Italy?
Yeah.
He has that shotgun, that pump shotgun. I think it's a Brunelli, and it gives Keanu Reeves the opportunity to look cool doing quick reloads in it and stuff, and it's like really neat visually on the screen, you know. Mm-hmm. But in this, he's using this, you know, because they're always going to use like the coolest, newest gun stuff in these movies, right?
Yeah.
The gun he's using, again, I forget the company that makes it, but it's basically like an AR platform, 12 gauge. Okay. And so since that's the shotgun he's using, because obviously he's going to be using the coolest, newest shit, the reloads are not impressive because he's just reloading like you would an AR-15. Mm-hmm. There's nothing super cool or tactical looking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and then also Dragon Breath ammo does not knock people down. It's not like...
No, but it does set you on fire.
No.
Well, I mean...
It's hot, but it burns really fast. If you're covered in gasoline, it'll ignite you, but it doesn't...
Those were all greasy Frenchmen, Niall. They're going to ignite.
So, I mean, they definitely play up the Dragon Breath ammo beyond its capabilities, for sure. Which, you know, for a movie, I'm not like complaining about it. You know, it looked cool on screen. But yeah, Dragon Breath ammo in reality does not. If you were in a firefight, that would not give you an advantage.
So, remember I leaned over. I was like, who, that the Belarusian, the woman who's like in charge. So I realized. So I looked up. She was Osha in Game of Thrones. She's that wildling that they brought in to look after, and she wound up like looking after Bran. And then she was also in the Harry Potter movie. She was
Tonks. Right?
Yeah, Tonks, and she was in Mandalorian, but I think she was in that gang when they did that heist on that prison ship.
Oh, with Clancy Brown?
Yeah, she was in that gang.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I know where I've seen her from, but I think Game of Thrones in particular is what I recognized her from, because she was an alien in.
Well, what I recognize her the most from is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because the face is just.
She's got a very unique face. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's not ugly, but it's not
definitely not conventionally pretty.
Conventionally pretty.
But yeah, that. Yeah, so I was a little disappointed in the gun porn in this, though, as a result. Just because there was nothing...
Yeah, the most unique thing was those dueling pistols.
Yeah, which were just break action 45 long Colt dueling pistols. It's like that's neat. It's not like particularly exciting though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, that Kimber that they made such a big deal out of in the third movie, that's given to him by the Barrio King.
Yeah.
Barrio King or whatever.
Yeah.
By Lawrence Fishburne.
The Bowery King.
Bowery, that's it. Bowery King. Those are not particularly exciting guns. They're just really expensive 1911s. So, yeah, I don't really have much else about this one.
Nah. Pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, I'd rate it just kind of up there with all of them, I think.
Yeah. I really have enjoyed the world building they've done in the sequel movies, though. I would love to see a TV series that takes place in this universe, like in this setting. That's just it's like smaller time assassins or whatever.
Yeah.
Or some of these other people that do jobs that aren't the killing. You know, it's like the cleaner that like comes in and cleans up John's house in the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool to see. Just like a bunch of shorts, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so coming up, I guess Dungeons and Dragons is
that next week?
March 31st is when it comes out.
Renfield is next week. We're definitely seeing that, right?
Yeah, definitely seeing that.
Well, I sure hope the mics aren't picking up that rattling sound coming from outside.
Yeah, well, our dryer, Mario Brothers, April, and kind of interested in Air and Paint. Have you watched the trailer on that?
No, you were telling me about it though.
Yeah, so he's kind of a
it's like a parody, right?
yeah, a bit of a parody of
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, yes, thank you. And I guess like this network that he's on starts another art show similar, and she's more popular than him, and he's having a hard time dealing with it.
Huh. Guy Ritchie's Covenant, or The Covenant, is that the next thing after that? After Mario?
Might be.
I think so. That looks like a decent movie, but it just doesn't look like a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah. What was this? I saw a trailer for the Chevalier. Oh yeah.
Sisu, dude.
Sisu.
That movie looks awesome. Like it comes up, we're in the theater and like watching the trailer for that today. He comes up and says, from the same studio that brought you John Wick. And someone in the theater was like, yeah, no shit. Just because of how ridiculously violent that trailer is. Yeah. Dude, oh man, in the trailer when out of the smoke comes that landmine through the air and lands on that guy. Ridiculous.
That made me laugh when I saw it.
It's a level of violence that hits like a cartoonish level that's just kind of silly.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, it looks like similar violence in Renfield. I saw, because we saw the Red Band trailer, and I hadn't seen the Red Band trailer yet.
He's like holding that dude by the arms and kicks him, and it like rips the arms out of that guy.
Yeah, he's just like looking at the ripped off arms. Yeah, because that was the first time I'd seen the Red Band trailer. I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize how violent this was gonna be.
Yeah.
Let's see. After that, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Excited about that.
Fast X. Which I feel like we're only going to see that because it's like a cultural milestone, right?
I mean, how much family can we get? What else we got? I mean, Spider-Man, Cross the Spider-Verse. So we got lots of stuff coming up.
Yep.
And
Our theater was pretty packed this morning.
Yeah,
Like, it was
pretty
the
much first showing,
fully
right?
sold out. Yeah, it was like 10:30 in the morning. It was the first matinee showing of the day, and it was full of old people. There's a lot of old people in there. Which I was like, is that like old? Like the lady had to be like 80 something.
They walk in
with the walker.
Yeah,
and she could like barely. She was so old she could like barely get up the ramp. But she's coming to see John Wick 4.
I'm just saying, maybe Keanu lights her fires. I mean,
I was like, hell yeah, lady.
Gets her blood going.
That is awesome.
Oh, I was like, why is there a giant potato in this Dungeons and Dragons banner? But it's
because it's a
Lay's.
crossover with Lay's.
Yeah.
It's a Lay's promotion.
Yeah. You know, they could have photoshopped this a little bit better so she was actually leaning on the potato. But no, she's got like several inches above the potato there. It looks weird.
I so hope
it looks weird. Why is she holding her hand like that?
I so hope that movie ends with like all the characters
like sitting around
a table in like modern clothing.
And then like this guy right here is the DM.
Yeah, the one that's like the way too serious member of the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. That has to be how that ends.
That would be fantastic. Super meta.
Yep.
All right. So
that's next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, you got anything else?
No.
Oh, all right. Cool. So yeah, if any of that upcoming stuff sounds of interest to you, subscribe or something. I don't know. Come back and check that out, though. We do reviews. It's what we do. We like doing it. It's our thing. Go check out some of our other reviews. What was the last one, Nolan?
65.
65. It's kind of a shame that movie was number 200 and not John Wick number 4. Just because, like, you know.
That was a bigger milestone.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about 65. You should go listen to that review and hear everything we have to say about that movie in there. So, yeah, come back next week and we will likely have up a review for Dungeons & Dragons and what's the other thing comes in? Renfield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, come back, check those out. And I guess until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.